Thank you so much. Thank you all for joining. Good afternoon, good evening, or good morning, wherever you are in this world. Thank you for inviting and accepting our presentation. We're honored to be part of this growing community of future design, of researchers and practitioners. And we are truly grateful to be here and share with you how we use future design and the role of imagination. So last year during our presentation, um, after our presentation, we went into a discussion, and there were these two researchers that were also in that session, Hugues Benoit Catin and Stéphanie Grumbois. And they asked us this profound question because they said, well, after to get into a session of future design, we just let people become future persons, just like that. And you have all these ways of stimulating creativity and imagination before you start getting them into the future. And that really struck us because we thought, can people become a future person just like that? Can you activate future ability easily, or do people need to be stimulated by that? So that's the quest that we had for the last year, and we want to share our experiences from some of the activities that we did with some of our clients. But let us introduce ourselves a bit more. Igor, my colleague, can you say something about that?
You, Rick. Good morning, everyone. We are two consultants from the Netherlands. We have our own company and we help organizations to develop strategy and vision about their company and what to do with their company. So Rick Koster is a specialist in leadership consultant, and I'm a specialist in moderating and making great days for companies. And so we do that together. And since 3 or 4 years, we use future design to help organizations, excuse me, with their strategy. And so we are practitioners. We are not scientists. And but we promised Mr. Yoshi Sayo when we use it, we write everything down and we tell him what works, what we experience in the Netherlands.
Indeed, yeah. And so what we did last year was one of our projects was at the Postcode Lottery Group. And this is a picture of us at the end of that session. And the Postcode Lottery Group, they run charity lotteries based on people's postcodes. So sharing the power of community solidarity. They're active in the Netherlands, in Sweden, in the UK, in Germany, and in Norway. And in 2024 alone, they donated over 1 billion to social and environmental causes. And since their foundation, they have contributed over 13.5 billion worldwide. So they have a huge impact on social movements and organizations that really need the financial support. And they asked us, can you deliver a future design session for our new European working body in order for them to think more freely about the future of our postcode lottery group? Because we want to strengthen our lotteries with tomorrow's perspective. That was the question that they had. So that's where we started building this program for them and incorporating some of the imagination exercises to stimulate imagination during the sessions. And one of the very effective methods that we used is a meditation. And we'd like to take you through that. Igor will do that because experiencing it really makes you understand what it does. So, Igor?
Thank you, Rick. So we invite you for this 7th generation meditation. And afterwards, we like to hear your experience with it and to talk about it, but that's for then. So I invite you to take you on this journey, to join me, to join us. We're going back 3 generations in time, and from there we return to the present and then move 3 generations in the future. Okay, so please close your eyes like Rick is doing and arrive in this moment, here and now, with your feet on the ground and your eyes closed. Breathe calmly in, hold it, and then calmly breathe out. Do it one more time. Breathe in and breathe out. As you sit here in the present, relaxed and comfortable, imagine your ancestors behind you. Visualize the life of your parents. What did their lives look like? How do they connect with family, with friends? And imagine how their communities looked like, the communities of your parents, when you were a child. And go back a little in time and imagine their childhood. What was their home like? And their house, how was it heated? With coal or gas or electricity? Did they listen to the radio? Was there already television in the time where your parents were kids? How was their school time and living environment? And behind your parents, behind their generation, imagine your grandparents, all 4 of them. Let's go back in time when your grandparents were young. This takes us back like 75 or 100 years or longer. What was their living environment like? What was their contribution to the family and to the community? How did your grandparents take care of each other? And what was their scope of the world? What media did your grandparents use? Could they already travel by plane or only by bicycle or car? Or had they go walking? Also imagine their comfort and basic needs. And then behind your grandparents, imagine your great-grandparents. And now a total of 14 people stand behind you. All these ancestors had to work hard to give up things so you could have this life today and be here in this moment. Imagine maybe like 150 years back. What was their living environment? When they were young, how was it like? How was their health system? How did they connect with other people? Until what age did they go to school? Maybe not. Did they work on the land? What were their pleasures? Come back now to your life, to this moment. What have you received through your parents, grandparents, and great-grandparents? Intentional or by coincidence? You carry them with you. Values, culture, family stories. Think of the comfort and innovation we have to receive through them. And now visualize the life of the generation after us. Your children or their generation. How is their life in 20 years from now, in 2050? What does the next generation discover and experience? What do they care about in that time? And how will they spend their time? How will they connect with each other? And what do they do to contribute to the world? And if they have children, your grandchildren, or those of others you know, how will they live over 50 years in 2075? What will their relationship with technology be like? What will they value in their relationships? Will they still go to school, graduate at home, maybe? Will they still live in a global economy or return to a local one? And what issues will they have to deal with? Fresh air, maybe, or fresh water, food, or migration? And then we move to their children, your great-grandchildren, or the children of your grandchildren's generation. Imagine so long in the future. This takes us maybe 100 years in the future to 2110 maybe. Visualize how they will live. What will their relationship with technology or free time will be like? Will they live in cities or in the countryside? Will there still be nature and green spaces? How will the water quality be there? What energy sources do they use? Will they still travel the world by plane or spend more time in their local community? Now, you traveled through time, from your children to your grandchildren to your great-grandchildren. They will stand on your shoulders and all those before you. And you stand here in the line of past and future. Perhaps you will immediately experience some change in perspective from your point of view to the future and to the past. Hold on to it. Take it with you from now on. This feeling might save the well-being of future communities and could determine how your Earth will look like, how their Earth will look like. Slowly, you return now through time in this chair, and you calmly return to the moment. Welcome back to the here and now. You have envisioned your influence on future generations, so you can open your eyes again. You can foresee what is needed. That is future design. And that is being a good ancestor. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Igor, for taking us on this intense journey. In the chat, are you able to, I would like to invite you to reflect a bit on how this experience was for you, if you also went through this 7th-generation meditation. Some comments, and maybe if it's in Japanese, someone can translate it for us. So it doesn't matter if it's in Japanese or in English. Some reflections, how did you experience this exercise? I'm looking at the chat, but of course, always it takes a bit of time before people start writing. Yes, there's a remark or a question. Please come in. Gayung?
Yes, Kai.
Gayung? Yeah. Hi.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Very impressive and interesting. I'm from Korea, Korea Advanced Institute of Science and Technology. I'm a research assistant professor at KAIST, Korea. And I have two questions. It's very interesting. And please understand me, I'm from academia, so my question can be somewhat conceptual. But the very first one, sustainability and long-term effect of the method that you use. So in terms of the long-term effect, I mean, like how does methods, meditation, play a role in terms of future design, or there are changes in perception for future generations, or there are changes in their behaviors or decision makings, something that's related to the future. And the second one, when I saw the pictures of your workshops or experiments, or how do I put it? I will say as a workshop. Can I ask you why there are grouped? I mean, like in terms of the meditation, maybe from my understanding, it will be, I don't know, for me personally, it will be much easier for me to have me alone, having this meditation, and then having a very in-depth meditating, and then so that I can imagine and fully concentrate on it. And I think I'd like to ask you, why did you design as a group and having this meditation, maybe before and after discussion, or having more like
Okay, thank you.
efficiency?
Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks a lot. And I think these are already questions that are related to the discussion phase, but thank you for raising them. because I think they're very valid questions and remarks. So I think the first thing that I want to point out, and if you have done this experience also with how we do it, how Igor does it, is that after the exercise, people were silent. So we're sitting there with a group about 35, 40 people, and they were silent.
In a circle.
Yeah, they were
Sorry,
sitting in a
Rick, to
circle.
interrupt you.
Yeah.
We were not sitting in groups. We made a
Oh.
big circle
Oh,
Yeah.
for the meditation.
for the meditation. Okay.
Yeah. And so everybody was silent, and we asked also some reflection, but they couldn't because it's quite intense to realize, and it's also what Jun Nishida-san says in the chat. Time framing in mind has been extremely extended, very new experience. And I think that that's exactly what it is. And even now, I've done it quite some time, but now I also walked with, while Igor was talking, and I got goosebumps because I realized that the children of my children, I have two children, they are 12 and 14, but their children will live through the 21, 40 or 50 maybe. They will experience that. So those are my grandchildren. And that realization is like, and that was also what happening in the room. They said, what are we doing with these quarterly journals that we have to present our wins and loss in financial for this 3 month, while we are talking about something that is extending 100 years. And I think that this meditation really had that profound effect during the session.
So like
So
blur
yeah,
distinction
sorry.
between future and current generations, perhaps I
Yes.
say.
Yes, I think that was what happened. And what we believe is that if you are going through the process of future design, of course we need our brilliant mind, but we also have to bring in our hearts and our hands. So head, heart, and hands. We want to integrate that while we are doing this exercise, because then it really becomes profound. So we're always finding ways in how can you stimulate that.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you. We'll get back to some of the questions as well later on. And I like the idea of, or maybe to answer that doing this experience with the whole group. I know it's intense, and people have to, you have to get them into that mode of closing your eyes, etc. But having the experience together as a group, and then you move forward in some strategy development. It ties the bonds between them. It makes them a stronger group. So it's maybe a little bit awkward in the beginning, but when they went through it, they feel more connected. Yeah. Igor, anything to add?
Yeah, so maybe I'm sorry, but we have 3 minutes left for the presentation. After that, we have 10 minutes. Yeah.
Please continue
We
your
want to
presentation.
share something else with you. Yeah.
Miss
Very
Park, we'll have question time later, so please wait the presentation.
Oh, sorry. I thought it's question time.
No,
My
it's all right, because I love the more interaction, the better, and I like your questions. And let's get back to that during the discussion.
apology.
Yeah.
And I see another, yeah, that's great. That's great. I also see a comment saying not only expansion of time frame, but I felt great warmth. And that is so beautifully put, so that it is indeed that we activate the heart. And then we get to different conversations instead of only using our fabulous brain. Yeah. Okay, so when it comes to the outcome, so one of the things that I really like, because then afterwards we let them continue and have the conversation as a future person, so 30 years from now. And what I saw is that because they did this exercise, they were more freely to open up about some of the ideas that maybe were somewhere in the back of their minds, but they didn't dare to say. So in the end, when they presented all the ideas that they had from the future, they also said, well, maybe we don't have lotteries anymore. Because we're building this global platform for exchange of social services without the lotteries. And nobody ever dared to say this before that session. Sorry, Igor?
So what we want to talk about today is that last year we learned from the French, you don't have to do much and people go in the future like this. But we think if you add some creativity and some in your workshop or in your session, you bring the people much further. Maybe Rick, we have some seconds left. Can you share with the people what we do? Well, we do this meditation, but we also do other things. So Rick will share it.
So indeed, so these are some of the other ways of activating. And I think very, very interesting one. There is some beautiful songs that you can use to really get people into different minds. We let them bring objects for the past or the future. That helps. Drawing, of course, and mind mapping. We also sometimes use Lego to really stimulate creativity, and they are building the future with their hands while they're talking. So that's also a different process starts. And sometimes we let people make a prototype of the future. So we use all kinds of sticks and, glue, etc. Because also that, activating the hands, you get different kinds of conversations.
And for the last one, that for going to the past design, if you take a video of Madonna in the 90s, everybody goes there and they think, I was like 16 and that was I wore these clothes. And so images and videos and music and everything helps the mindset. Thank you.
Thank you so much.